final meeting of 2025 Warrick County Economic Development Council called to order. First order of business, here from the Yankeetown Fire Department.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let our guests introduce themselves. And for the EDAC board, if you're not on the redevelopment commission, we have a couple presentations today. But to save everyone time and to give them an exact time, we're starting with them at the beginning of EDAC. And so the first folks that are here are from the Yankeetown Fire Department. The Redevelopment Commission worked with Yankeetown to provide funding for them for a vehicle to replace a much older vehicle that they were using. I will let them kind of introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about the vehicle, and then no formal thing, but we'll stretch our legs, because if you didn't see or if you came in early, the vehicle's parked right outside, and they can just point out a few things, and we're happy to have them. So, gentlemen.
My name's Dave Wallace. I'm the chief of Yankeetown. I was assistant chief when this project started, and due to some problems with the department, the chief stepped down and I stepped into his place. First thing we want to say is thank you. We were using a 2008 Chevy Suburban for our rescue truck. It was somewhat dangerous to our firefighters because it had a large metal tray in the back that slid out that we kept equipment on, and it was a pretty bad pinch point. Plus, if you didn't know, the tray was pulled out and you came around the truck too quick, you were bent in half by the tray. So this is a 2026 Chevy 1-ton with 6.6 liter, if any of you gentlemen want to know. Meyer Truck Equipment put the bed on it for us and did the stenciling. And then we have a private contractor, David, on site that the radio and the lights. So that's pretty much how we spent your money.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Anything else that you want to just tell us that's, in 2026? Anything new or anything that the community should know about what's going on over at Yankeetown Fire, or anything that of interest?
We're trying to hang tight.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are aware, but they started a new dispatch system a couple of weeks ago. First few days were kind of rocky, but it seems to be working out really nice with mutual aid. Each fire chief submitted who he would like to have respond in each division, in each different scenario. So now dispatch just dispatches those departments all at one time, rather than waiting until one department would get there and say, oh, this is bigger than we can handle. We're trying to approach this, let's get more equipment there than we need, and not need it than need it and not have it.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, you guys dispatch to like Alcoa and Kaiser.
Yes, we cover Alcoa, Kaiser, Cully Power Plant, what used to be Yankeetown Dock. I'm not, it's a private company now, but. And then we have, of course, Yankeetown School, Newburgh Sewer Plant, Newburgh Water Plant. And then a lot of farmland.
Well, speaking for the board, I think we were really happy that we could help. And if you don't mind, guys,
They volunteer.
Yes, we are fully volunteer department.
Yep.
Good.
Let's take a look outside real quick, and then again, guys, just thank you for what you guys do for the county. We should be the ones thanking you.
Yes.
And we're just happy that we can help, and we'll just go take a peek, and then we'll let you get out of here. And then you guys are told.
Thank you, everybody. I mean, I was pretty excited about it, so. You're waiting until after the meeting and. Yes. Don't get the fire.
Oh man, I'm not inside it. But this is like, six of them.
Did you know you sing back saying about there?
Dude, that kid's sharp, he's sharp. Oh my gosh. I think sharper teeth. People tell you this far. I think have a beverage while we're doing our business. Yeah. Well, you girls have paid some pretty picky back there.
It's a month.
Did you see this? So, here's what's gonna start there. She did really like.
For that amount.
Yeah.
What was it, like 10 a year?
Trucks I have, we wear out.
Okay, I'd like to shift to presentation number 2. And so another thing that the Redevelopment Commission looked for is to support our schools and to do that through the Pathway School, which is creating opportunities for kids to get experience and certifications and dual credits to enter the workforce, which is important to economic development. So I would like to introduce Principal Drew Girth of the Pathway School to talk a little bit about the equipment that we work together on, and then maybe just give us a update in general on how the Pathway School is doing and what's new for 26.
All right, well, thanks for having me. Glad to be here, and we greatly appreciate your all support. Unfortunately, my show and tell is not nearly as good. I have cool stuff. I don't have a truck big enough to bring that stuff here, so maybe next time I'll need to work on that, or we can take a field trip out and come see us. But just a couple of pictures in here show the 2 major items I purchased with the money are a Broderson carry deck crane and then a case dozer, 650 WT dozer that we're using in our civil construction program. Every sophomore in the school corporation comes and visits our facility. That's what the inside picture is of one of those tours in preparation for applying to come as juniors and seniors to our school. We're in everything in prep right now. All of those invites for next year go out tomorrow. So that's what I get to do before I go on Christmas break. So I'm kind of excited about that. Some things are kind of exciting that as a result of this is next year we're going to be the host for the state Work Indiana Roads Under the Hook competition, which is a crane and rigging competition. And this year they had the first annual one of those, and it was just 3 schools in Indianapolis that were participated because they were kind of trying it out. But we're excited next year that all 16 civil construction programs throughout the state of Indiana are going to come to Warrick County for that competition. And we're going to use the crane that we bought with the grant for that. So we're definitely excited about that. We also recently got a grant from Working Indiana Roads Group, which is the group that hosts these competitions. And is the support system of contractors throughout the state for the civil construction. And Mr. Alry, our teacher, is gonna go and get his full crane certification and instructor this summer. With the grant that we got from them, which will then benefit the kids moving forward, because he'll be better trained to help them. We're thankful because this grant's allowed our students to train on the same equipment that we see building Warrick County in the tri-state. A lot of our equipment is smaller, but we make sure that the equipment that we buy, even though it is smaller, has the same type of controls as the larger pieces of equipment that we see, everywhere, so kids get that experience. To the dozer that we purchased in January, we're gonna add a GPS system to that, so that's something else that we can give the students the opportunity to train on and learn those skills. Some of our current and past students that have moved on into the workplace, either as graduates or this coming semester, we've got some interns, and then as well as some coming up this summer. We've got a student at Jerry Eigner Construction, actually, that's working with them. We've got some students that are in apprentices at the local 181, which has their training facility up in Linville. We have a student that's going to intern next semester with the town of Chandler, so we're excited about that. We've got a student, also a couple students working with the Regal group that have graduated. So, and this summer we have some juniors that are going to intern with E&B paving. So we're glad to have the students out and about and learning those skills. I do have the cost sheet if we need it for how we spent the money.
Yeah, we'll take it. Or you can send it to me digitally. Either way out, you can leave what it is. What about, Dr. Redmond at State of the School has mentioned kind of what's coming to just the pathway school next year as far as new pathways.
Next year we are adding early childhood education and software development. Are two new pathways.
Are you planning on adding additional construction trades?
We are, that will come with building 2. So that plan is kind of ebbs and flows, but the land is there for it. There's been some change with the funding from the state level. So I think what was once a 3-year project is now possibly 5 or 6 to get to that point. But we're hoping in building 2 to be able to add electricians, HVAC, and trying to think what other construction trade that was on the docket.
Plumbers, probably.
Plumbers, to the thing as far as in the construction trades, if it goes like the current building, this building is going to be full with 10 different pathways. So I would guess that building 2 would be somewhere that 8 to 10. I suspect that the second building will look a lot different than this one, because the shop space we're going to need for some of these programs will probably have a lot more garage doors around the outside of the building 2. But with some foresight, there's also room on the property for the building could be built a 3rd time as well.
So when did you say building 2 is hoped to be done?
Probably at this point 5 or 6 years, optimistically. It depends on what obstacle comes next between now and then, but yeah, that's what we were hoping when the first one got finished at this point that we would just be 2 or 3 years out, but there's been some funding changes, I think, that have pushed that back a little bit, but we're definitely looking to add on to and add to the programs available for students.
Well, it's nice to see that you continue to add pathways even in the footprint that you have. And I think early childhood is definitely needed, and computer science is that, basically software.
Yeah, it's software development. It's under the computer science or digital technology realm. There's
to allow kids to experience 2 complete, additional career paths.
yes, and completely different things. So.
Yeah.
How'd you guys decide on civil construction to be your first construction trade? The guy beside you didn't have anything to do.
Well, it was everything that we've kind of picked there to this point has been based upon demand for our area. And looking a lot at the Region 11 economic data. So that weighed into it. And then the support from the Work Indiana Roads group that's coming from them was also a part of it. And we also don't like to duplicate things at Sick Tech if we don't have to, so having something different is also a plus. And with our, you know, the amount of civil, even just right here in Warrick County, I mean, with, you know, Jerry and Regal's right here in our backyard, and I mean, there's quite a bit of when the 181 training facility is in Warrick County, when you looked at it, it made sense for something for us to add.
When did you say this, next year, the below the hook competition? Like what time of year is that?
It is in the fall.
Okay.
So I can keep you posted. We're still working through the logistics of it, but they came down, the group, and saw our facility. It was the first time they visited, and they actually were very impressed by what we've built so far and what we're working on. And so they've asked if we would be willing to host, and we said we would love to. And so we're looking forward to that. It's this year was late September. It may end up being right after fall break, mid-October this year. The logistics of it are still in work, and I gotta put a 50 by 50 concrete pad up before that happens too, so.
Well, and I know Dr. Redmond has said it to this group multiple times that if you want a tour, if you haven't had one, it's really impressive. So you can reach out to Abby or reach out to Drew.
Please do.
Abby's got a daughter graduating, that's why she's not in our meeting today. But don't hesitate if you haven't been out there. They've got for this program, they've got what they call, I think you call it sandbox.
Yes.
You know, where they can move dirt and do stuff and actually use the equipment right outside off of the school. And it's really
We
impressive.
finished that structure was just finished this fall. Actually, we just got electricity this week. So, which is good because we have some block heaters that need to be plugged in.
How many students do we have now, total students at the facility?
Total students in the facility right now, we're at 162, and we should have 198 next year.
Will that be about all we can handle?
In our
Building?
in the current building that we're gonna be, that 200 is about where we're gonna,
And these are all Warrick County kids?
all Warrick County kids.
We
that
don't
come
take
from-
any,
No,
one
they're-
time we talked about regional a little bit, but
Yeah, no, we are, all Castle, Boonville, and Tecumseh
yeah.
is where all of our students come from.
Not everybody gets to come that applies, or do they?
Unfortunately, they do not. We have a lot more applicants than we have spaces. So it is a bit of a competitive process. We would love to have everyone a spot, but
We need more buildings or more teachers if we.
all the above.
It's a shame that they can't,
Yeah,
not
and
everyone can be there.
there's,
Needs to be.
right, and you run into some interesting things just with, with our nursing program. We have 2 sections of that. And in their first year, they get a CNA certificate. And to do that, they have to work in a skilled nursing facility. Well, Warrick County has several skilled nursing facilities, and we use them all. And then there's one on like the east side of Evansville, and everything else is downtown or west side. Well, those are logistically in 2.5 hours to get there, do anything, and get back to the schools. There's just not, it's just not enough time to make it worth the while. So I could hire another teacher, but I don't. Now I'd heard at one point that right across the street from me, whoever owns that land was gonna put a nursing home there, so maybe if that happens, that's great. That'd be really convenient for us too. So, those are some things, that's definitely a high demand program. I think we've got 40 spots, and then we've opened up an afternoon section to try to do more, so we're up to 55 spots now, and I had 90 applicants. So we've, which is great. But
Some of them are going down to SIG and going into their program too.
they are, yes.
I've heard that too.
We still send students to Sick Tech. I think this year we had, this year we had 50 pre-nursing students, and I think Warrick County still had like 15 or 16 at Sick Tech on top of it.
And when you crunch the job postings regionally in our region, nursing postings are #1
Wow.
in the entire region. there's a lot of different types of nursing positions, but when you put them all together, that's by far the number one category of open jobs in the region.
Yes, most definitely.
Do we have any online programs?
No, all of our stuff is hands-on and in person. The school corporation has some online things that we do through the Apex system that we have, and you can get some a management pathway, business management pathway through an online platform. But everything at the Pathway Center is hands-on and involved, and you know the students are working. And every program we have also is dual credited, so they leave with industry certificates, college dual credit, and the hands-on experience. So they're prepared to either go to work, go to school. They have those options. They don't have to make that decision when they start with us. They have the option to, you know, go on to whatever the next step is for them.
So when you say they get a CNA certificate, they can start day one after they get done out of high school being a CNA.
They can, actually, they don't even have to wait that, they earn that their junior year, so they can start as a CNA. We have several students that work as a CNA, the second year of the nursing program, they work 3 days a week, out in the field, either at the hospital and they're only with us 2 days a week. And the 2 days a week they're with us, though, they earn an additional 9 credit hours through Ivy Tech and medical records and ethics and a psychology class that all count towards a nursing degree if they want to be an RN, and the other 3 days a week they're out working as CNAs or patient care techs in the hospitals. Because if you're CNA, if you're in a skilled nursing facility, but essentially a patient care tech is the same skill set in a hospital setting. And they do like a day of training. We actually just had 4 of our students that were working as CNAs that got hired at Deaconess. And Deaconess is going to pay for their classes to be RNs and as they work through with them. So it was funny listening to kids because it was a debate because they were going to take a $3 an hour pay cut now, but their college was going to be paid for. And I was like, that's a good deal. Pay for college, take it, go for it. I know it may seem like it's not a deal now, but it's a deal. So yeah, we're excited about, you know, always looking for new opportunities for the kids and experiences. Another little exciting news, since we're talking about some fun things, we started welding program this year. And the American Welding Society had a trailer building competition this fall. And we found out last night at the banquet that our school won.
That's awesome.
The Pathway Center won the trailer competition. So we're looking forward to putting that out there tomorrow. And I believe Evans Welding Supply is coming tomorrow to give a $2,000 donation to our welding program.
That's awesome.
That's part of that. So that's exciting. And it was 2 other high schools, 2 colleges, and we won. So we're excited.
That's good.
Who's our instructor for them?
And so,
Well,
Caleb Hart, that's a new,
we have just one.
you guys are you still offering some adult certifications in the evenings for welding?
We do, and we'll have another session available starting, I think, mid-February. We're still.
You don't have to be a junior in high school if you want to start welding.
If you don't want to start welding, that's right. So.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, Drew, I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. We appreciate
Thank you
it.
for what you do.
Thank you. And
Yeah, if you want to leave that stuff.
I can leave you that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you want to leave it here or leave it
There.
there? A stack of them.
all right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
And if you want to come take a tour, just come on out.
Yeah.
All right.
Been there.
What?
Business, for motion for approval of minutes, November 2025.
Motion to approve.
And remember, if you're online, we're gonna have to do roll call. I see Lynn, I see you online. Brandon, is that you?
Yeah, I'm here.
It does not have a name. So is that
Yeah.
Steve Smith or Brandon?
Can you hear me?
Okay, so there's a motion and a second, all in favor here? Aye. So, you know,
Yeah. call Lynn and then we'll continue. If you're unmuting, can you identify yourself as well? Lynn, we do see you, so she's gonna call you first. But tell me-
Hi. Yeah, it's Brandon.
Okay, thanks, Brandon.
Lynn,
Hi.
Brandon,
Hi.
Motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
Moving to financial reports.
Okay, financials reports were sent out in your packet. No changes since you received the meeting packet. Pretty standard stuff, highlighting a couple stuff that's forecasting and highlighting a couple things to be aware of. Happy to answer any questions on our edit financials.
Any questions? Need a motion?
Motion to approve.
Need a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor of approving the financial reports, aye. Motion carries.
Oh, we gotta go online.
Yeah, well, motion almost carried.
Lynn,
I think
Hi.
Brandon,
Hi.
now the motion carried.
All right.
All right, let's talk new business.
Okay, new business. The big chunk of our new business today and the big chunk of the rest of our meeting is you guys were sent this in the update email and then in a secondary email, we were sent the rest of the paperwork that goes along with it. We have a project that we've been working on called Project Firefly in the North Warrick Industrial Park. They are coming to the county for tax phase-in. Since it's in a TIF district, both boards here have to, EDAC makes a recommendation up or down to approve for county council, but then the redevelopment commission has to pass a resolution basically approving it because it's in the TIF district. So technically, those taxes go into the TIF fund. So Project Firefly, really quickly, is a Japanese automotive interior manufacturer. Think carpets, interiors, noise dampening, and accessories. They have 10 North American locations. They're headquartered in Michigan. Their first location was established in 1985. They are a strong firm. They are here because of their connection to Toyota as a supplier. Toyota is obviously a well-established company here in our region. When they made the decision, they are going fast. And so they are working with Woodward. They have a letter of intent. They have a waiting to sign purchase agreement on the shell building. They are looking to get going quickly, so they have a real short due diligence period on the site, on the ground, on the building. They had engineers out yesterday, walking through the building with Woodward and stuff like that. Their due diligence period is set to end, I think, January 20th, and they want to close by the end of January, which then means they need to finish out the building. If anyone doesn't remember out there, that's just a shell. It's just, so parking, docks, office, break rooms, bathrooms, all of those things. They want to get that done and they want to be operational by May.
Ooh.
Now, I told you they're a manufacturer of these products. They do have a multiple phase build out here. Their first phase is literally just receiving and shipping. They have other facilities in Ohio, in Kentucky, and in Michigan. So at first, they're just trying to get established in the region. They will build it out as their warehouse and distribution location. They're gonna make a real property investment here, about $11 million. 4.4 of that will be the build out, which will be what we're talking about tonight, that qualifies for real property improvements and real property tax phase-in. They will be spending another 1.2 million in business personal property, so think IT and logistics and fork, rack, and shelving and all of that stuff. That does qualify for personal property abatement, but in 2025 and backwards, the state said any company that had under $80,000 of business personal property is exempt from taxes. As part of the big tax break that came out for this coming year, SB1, they raised that limit to 2 million, which is a big jump. So it used to, it used to be at 80,000. Now a company, anything under 2 million is exempt from personal property taxes. So since this is under that 2 million, this is under that de minimis and is exempt. So we're not going after personal property taxes on that. We're just going after the real property taxes. Phase 1 is supply chain establishment and get established. It's really one shift. of folks receiving stuff from a different warehouse and when Toyota needs it, loading it up. But until they need to get established first because they have a phase 2 that they're planning on in 2028 and a phase 3 in 2030, 2031, where they'll be more than doubling the size of the shell building, adding their manufacturing lines and going to 75 employees and then up to 150. That expansion, when they get into manufacturing, is gonna be about another additional $45 million spend. And so, but what we are focused on tonight, what those forms, what my recommendation of that 9-year tax phase in, which is what they scored in our system, is to recommend that 9 years on that real property improvement, which is 9 years on that 4.4. That's what they're spending. Whatever the assessor assesses it at is what is taxable. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you read through the packet, there's a little more narrative of how they've, when they got established and what they do and that kind of stuff. I just tried to summarize it here for the group tonight. So if EDAC wants to do what we're looking at is for a positive or a negative recommendation for tax phase-in, what we would do is take that to county council. We're gonna be on the county council agenda at the January meeting and at the February meeting, because tax phase-in is a 2-step procedure. It's that first one is the preliminary resolution, and then the second meeting is a confirming resolution.
How long has the shell building been basically on the market? A couple of years?
Since a couple years, 4 years, 4.5 years.
Crazy, it's been there 4 years.
Yeah, it's
So it kind of got finished right as we went into COVID. And interest and all kinds of stuff kind of was light. And so
But we were still within the interest only payments.
yeah,
We never-
that's where I was.
We never got to the point where we were paying.
Were we
principal.
getting close?
we were within
After 5 years.
we were within a year and a half.
Yeah.
We have a year and a half left.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is good for everything.
Yeah, the package you put together was good, so I don't have any questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve, it's Lynn. I had a question. The 75 additional employees, so they won't be here till 2031? Did we calculate that into the phase-in?
No, the phase in and that, Lynn, that's why they scored 9 years, really. I mean, their wages are strong.
Okay.
But no, that jump for 75 is gonna be in 2028. And then at 2030, they expect to basically run a second shift, which doubles to 150 employees.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So there'll be additional abatement requests when they do additional.
They will likely come back when they go to this manufacturing expansion.
That's what I thought.
It's cleaner to do it one phase at a time, so we really know what's going to happen.
We're only tying them to what they're doing today.
now.
Makes sense.
We're taking all that building.
Yep, and plan to expand on that property, which is nice.
Need a motion for approval of this.
I'll make a motion.
Brad makes a motion. I thought I heard a second over here. Sure.
Always.
There's a motion and a second for, the motion is to recommend to the county council.
9-year real
Nine-
property
9
tax phase and
Property tax phase. So all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? How about online?
Lynn,
Aye.
Brandon,
Aye.
okay.
All right,
You
motion-
just submit that form you'd filled out to the county council.
That was that tax form that's included. They have to submit their tax form and everything and sign off on it and all those things. The second page is we fill out based on what they get from an abatement standpoint.
And I still,
That's unanimous. Yes,
yeah,
yep,
I still have to prepare the preliminary resolution that gets submitted to county council and that they end up approving.
Yeah.
That have some more detail in it.
okay, the other real thing that I really wanted to talk about today is I just want to put on everyone's radar a little update of what, we had a powwow in our
In 2026, and to let everybody here know, couple things. One, if anything we ever talk about, any of the board members want to get involved with beyond a 1-hour meeting once a month, we'd be happy to expand our little team of 3 to a team of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we can use whatever bandwidth we want. So if something strikes you guys that you want to be involved with, please let me know. So that's one. And the other one is certainly, I worked with, the economic development part. We work with the commissioners as well to make sure that they're behind what we're doing, the direction we're going and stuff like that. But if you have other things, this isn't a comprehensive list. It's just to kind of get you guys going. So we've talked about it before. We were awarded 1 and 2 county program that is kicking off February 17th and 18th. And it's like a year-long program. We got folks from every community in Warrick County. It's rural empowerment and development. Hoping it's going to help Warrick County kind of work together and also build some capacity throughout the county and through our small towns. We are working for 2026 on the creation of a Warrick County Public Arts Commission. We've talked about that before. That's in the works. We are going to plan to continue the successful Warrick Bucks program. If you have not gotten any Warrick Bucks for our holiday promotion, they are basically gone. So go home. Don't do it now on the phones, but do it when we are adjourned. And we continue to have new business. We're well over 80 businesses in Warrick County. We continue to have new businesses sign up. From a small business boost in our community and Main Street businesses, it continues to be very successful. We are going to work on Warrick County rebranding. This is a project that we've had kind of on the back burner for a while. 2026 is the year. We have this old county logo that no one can identify with. We're going to do a little tweaking and rebranding, refreshing for our community. So that's another project. We're going to refresh our website to put some more economic development stuff on there. We are going to continue to work with the Parks Department on potentially a park impact fee study. That does not mean we're going to put a park impact fee in. It means we're going to study it. That's really about funding our parks better than they're currently funded. And that's a whole separate meeting to talk about the fact that, we want some new stuff at our parks and some other things, and that takes funding. I'd like to update our tax phase-in procedure. You guys saw the scoring and the application and stuff. It's just a little outdated. I want to update some of the matrix for our scoring with number of employees and wages and some of those things. So we plan to do that a little bit. And we are working. It's already in the works. There's a group trying to study a more regional public transportation model. We have Watts here in Warrick County, and we have Metz in Vandenberg, and Henderson has some, and never the three shall ever meet. And you can't get anywhere into your appointments, and it's an issue. So that study is if things can be done more efficiently and collaborate. But we continue to hear transportation is a problem for our employers. So, or lack of public transportation. So we're going to work on that as well. Couple of quality place things that we've talked about here. Working with the Parks Department, they want to move forward on new skills like gatehouse, little camp store, some front of the park bathrooms with the way that park is used by cyclists and other things. And that gatehouse, if anyone wants a tour, Pathway School is fantastic. The gatehouse is not. It's just outlived its purpose. It was great in 1970 when it was built, but the parks have grown from that. So we're going to work with them. We're going to work, we'd like to work with Warrick Trails on funding this trail connection, connecting the Wellness Trail to the brand new Ohio Township Park. It's going to be a beautiful new park there on Libert Road. We've got a trail all along the Wellness Trail that you can go on trail and bike and sidewalk here to Freeman Park to the Castle School System. But we got this gap on Libert Road that people are going to be walking along what is already a really narrow and tight road to go to that park, or they're just going to get in their car when they could use a bike or run or walk. We're still working with Elberfeld. They have a pocket park concept on Main Street in Elberfeld, and we look to get that project going. We've got some engineering numbers in hand now. We've got some new grant funding from Centerpoint and from the Wellness, from the Community Foundation and from Warrick Trails to get that project in Elberfeld started. So that they have like a little community meeting space and some stuff on downtown, and working with 4-H on funding what they call the animal barn, but it's really going to become a multi-purpose building that they're going to be able to use year round. Industrial Park, we kind of talked about it, the Shell building and Project Firefly. We still have this Project Vivid, which is a really large project on the remaining acreage in the park. We're working on that project. If that project comes, there will be utility upgrades all throughout that corridor, gas, water, sewer, and electric having to do with Project Vivid. But that will give us additional capacity utility wise, so that we can then, if that all happens, we're almost out of land. And so we would look at where we're going. We still have the little house lot on North Sheffield
Oh,
Road.
right.
Almost out of land.
Almost out.
Whole bunch of stuff. We talked about Epworth TIF and we put these in the TIF areas for the EDAC board, but really I'm doing that because TIF funding will help support it. It may be edit funds as well, which is why it's important to put on everyone's radar because again, multiple people putting dollars into a project helps spread all those dollars. We've got existing ongoing stuff that you see in a long list. We just got done with the floodway study and all the stuff through there. We're working on sewer capacity in the Epworth Gateway District and promoting our vision plan, which the Redevelopment Commission worked. The Libert Road Trail that we talked about NDOT wanting to make changes at Bell Road and that intersection. And we've talked about as part of the branding, doing the Warrick County welcome sign there on Epworth and 66 across from Deaconess as the first thing people see when they come in to our community, where we could promote community and community events and what's going on and alerts and warnings and all kinds of stuff. Redevelopment Commission, we've talked about maybe some road construction to open up some more development on Van Road and Orthopedic Drive and some other things through there. And then just, we talked about this area, State Road 61 TIF. We've been talking about potential land for industrial projects, trail along Oak Grove Road, turfing a field at Van Road Park for buddy ball so that kids with handicaps can play ball over there and be on turf and not on the muddy dirt and some of the challenges that are over there. And we've talked about some other stuff with the roundabouts and AMAX Park expansion and some of that other stuff and potentially helping out Elko and Kaiser who are in that TIF with some big projects that they may have moving forward and in the works. So that's kind of just a rundown of what we plan to work on next year. I'm sure new stuff will come up and some stuff will fall off, but I'll say it one last time, if there's something that interests you, more help and more folks getting involved can help us get more done.
What's the new Alcoa and Kaiser projects?
There aren't any real projects per se, but I mean, they're always talking about stuff that's out there. And so we created that TIF in part so that if those two companies, which are obviously two of the bigger employers, biggest taxpayer in our community, if there's ways that we can help them, they continue to talk about making investments or improving their product line and stuff like that. Nothing specific. But we want to be prepared for those projects.
Kaiser spent hundreds of millions of dollars since that became Kaiser. I mean, just the new line was a couple $100 million.
I think buying the rolling mill and the new roll coat line, and they've separated utilities, so they have a steam, another like $60-70 million utility investment. I think they've spent now over $1 billion since coming to the community.
Praise the Lord. That's right.
Yeah. They're here to stay.
Steve, I've got a question about the Parks Department. I should probably know this, but the Linville Park Department, is that the town of Linville?
Yes,
That's their parks?
it is.
We don't have any county funds that goes to Linville for any park up there at all?
We do not, and I would say the same for Chandler, the same for Newburgh, same for Boonville, all of those facilities. And not saying that we have not helped. I mean, we've helped fund the Tecumseh Trail up in, a portion of that with Warrick Trails and others. We've helped make this connection to Victoria Woods. We've helped expand the Rivertown Trail with some funding for their grant when they made that expansion. And so, but directly, no, those are town parks and fall within the limits of those towns.
But Scales Lake is part of what?
Scales Lake is just like the county owns Scales Lake, Warrick Sports Complex, which are baseball fields by Boonville High School, where Boonville junior baseball and softball play, Van Road Park, Friedman Park, and AMAX Park, and the little trailhead by Prime Foods. Those are the county parks. Every other park is a town park. Or township park.
Well, I just think we're not capitalizing on some of our natural stuff that we've got. And with our coal mining ground that we got surrounded at Linville,
I don't disagree with you.
we did a large reclamation job up there and put a lot of camping sites in. And it's never been used. It's sitting there. They need facilities to do that. So, I mean, we wasted, I mean, it was a great project done by the DNR, didn't cost us anything. But we need somehow to get that so they can start using it, because the camping is a big deal.
Is
So-
that, is that within the footprint of the town or is it actually
Oh, yeah.
outside the town?
It's owned by the town. So
Okay.
that was one of the deals that I had before I left the board.
So I don't wanna speak for Joe Sheeter here, but we have had a conversation about in 2026 having a Parks and Recreation, I don't know, whatever you wanna call it, meeting or summit or workshop for Warrick County, where we bring all the parks and all the and that includes the state, cause the state has Bluegrass and the state has Interlake. And they all operate independently with their own plans and everything else, and never the two shall meet. And so. Just like I said, Jerry, if there's something, this sounds like something you're interested in. I want. You'll be invited to that. You need to get involved to help make sure everyone understands that, you know, all of us are residents. As a resident, I don't care. You know, I go ride bikes in Scales Lake and I don't care that it's in Boonville or it's owned by this town or that town. And I go up to the company, residents don't care. It's those of, it's officials, no offense to our officials, but it's officials and everybody else, and they have to because they're over a territory, but it's those lines on the map that stop us from, you know, collaborating more.
But
So I'm hoping.
We talked about setting up a fund for cities and towns to apply for different projects, right?
We have had that conversation.
And that
Because I
can be
do
used
think
for
that
any
the,
number of things, including parks.
you know, I do think that the county can play a role in funding some of these projects. A more active role in funding, some we've done. some,
We
as I-
had that, so.
We have,
Sure.
So
And we
you're,
could,
what
you
you're
know,
saying is
sure.
make it a more formal
yes,
process.
you know, I just
Where
talked
we
about,
have a pot of money that's available
Well,
for
and the
cities and towns to
and the
apply
bigger reason
for.
to do that is so that we apply the resources that we have in a fair and distributive way versus a who, you know,
Ad hoc.
who's in, yeah, ad hoc, who's in front of us today, right?
right,
So I
we
like,
wanna be, we wanna be efficient with those funds.
yeah,
Would we ever put a bucket of money from the county together and almost treat it the same way that they do Ready, like where cities or towns would come with a project? and
Same,
build
same
it out?
concept.
That's
It's just
when-
not, we're just not calling it that.
When I originally
That's what
thought
we're
of
talking
it, that
about.
was kind of the model, is that everybody needs to come to the table.
Cause then you have to buy, yeah, you have them
With some
buy
money.
and develop, yeah.
And it is kind of the way we're looking at this 4-H project, we're looking at the Elberfeld Pocket Park, that it's gotta be a cost share. We can't do all the lifting,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to help a lot of projects.
great idea.
We wanna be able to enable projects by closing gaps and
We need to
providing
do this.
funding and.
We need to do.
So. If this board wants to get involved in how to structure that, then we need to talk to county council and the commissioners. Because obviously county council is gonna move the money, and we want to make sure that the commissioners are on board with having that type of project.
And
And
we
so,
talked about funding it out of having it out of funds set aside, so it's gotta be appropriated by county council for us to do that.
I think it'd be fantastic, and I think it would move a ton more projects forward than kind of the slow pace that we all see,
Right.
as we all wait years for things to happen.
There's
So far-
potential in Linville for that outdoor growth
Yep.
of that
So
type
much
of
potential,
entertainment.
that what you guys did, I mean, they won this, you guys, the DN, that was the state
Yeah.
DNR, I mean, they won the award for that, but
Yeah.
it's just, it's.
If you
just
guys
knowing
haven't
where to
been back
go, it's
there,
beautiful.
is there data?
there's a gate. You can-
Just move
you
the
can
gate.
walk around. It's right off
Stacy
the
said
Sunset
not-
Trail. Yeah, I mean, people do it all the time. People walk past it. You just not, you can walk it. I would not drive.
It
around
is,
it.
don't drive out there when it's
Yeah.
wet.
The kids don't know how to get.
It is,
Yeah.
it is really
It's
nice,
beautiful.
and standing there, you can see the potential.
Wow.
We did, they did the, when the eclipse happened, they opened it up for everybody to go up there, and they actually had some people that camp primitively up there because there's no utilities yet. But that's where I went to watch the eclipse, and it's amazing. There's so much potential for so many things, but I think that Linville is being guided because we have the other part, I mean, the other part of the park is got so many things that it needs to have done, and then we've got this new one that haven't even developed yet. So their hands are feeling somewhat tight, and they just did the Main Street project, so if you haven't gone up Linville's Main Street, you should see how beautiful
The
that is.
library's coming.
The library's coming, the
Wow.
street lights are up.
Looks
the-
great.
yeah,
Looks
It's
nice.
amazing, it looks great, so there's been a lot of projects going on, so,
No,
Been drive through it.
yeah, it's
Christmas lights
beautiful,
Beautiful.
yeah, it really is.
we have potential there. You know,
You guys need to, EDAC needs to consider what's the right number. So I would see this as sort of an annual funding of a pot of money for cities and towns to make application for parks, whatever their needs are, and some portion of EDAC being the ones that make decisions after it's appropriated by county council, but what's the right number per year? So think about.
If this group is all nodding their heads, we'll put together a bullet pointed framework that this board can work on.
Yeah, I think you have a good, you manage the Excel spreadsheet, so why don't you guys talk about it
Okay.
on your end and bring it to us and say, here's what we think makes sense, and then what are the aliquots for, like, well, and that's such a dumb science word, but what are the aliquots of money we would just spend?
I'm gonna use my own word.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what that.
that's a medical.
I don't know that word.
Well, what's the dosage per project?
I think Paul just called me an Alex.
Can you see that in the zoo? Is that in the zoo?
I'm good at crossword puzzles too.
Yeah.
we get a lake up there, that's, that they go into Pike County. And a lot of these coal mines are closing down and stuff, and a lot of that ground, they just about give it to you if you develop it, and then there's a big potential for outdoor stuff. That they have the interlake.
I'm with
all
you.
over it.
I think
A 3-state little in our region here.
Because
Because of what we have.
Potential.
I agree, Jerry. So if you're, when we pick this conversation up, if you're willing to be a part of it too, I think that will help. Okay, just a little bit of old business that was in the update email. We are moving forward with the flood sensors. We got a notice from Crystal, who's the administrator of council, that State Board of Accounts changed their appropriation procedure for funds. So the county is not making any appropriations in January. So EMA, Matt.
for that allocation, and Matt's working on a mapping of where these 6 are gonna go and all of that. But, and I'm putting together the presentation for council, but we're not going in January. We'll be in February meeting. I already talked about Warrick Bucks, guys, so, just, remember, get yours now. And then, is there any other board business?
Was there, can I just ask, maybe I just missed this one out, but the meeting?
So, no, we just have a standing call with them every 3 weeks.
I was trying to remember back on timelines and
They were hoping to get started this year, originally with the timeline that we were given, and they are working towards, getting started as soon as possible. Okay, last thing, I got one thing. That's right up there. Mr. Eric Pryor is gonna step off of our boards only due to time constraints. Which we hate to see him go. But
I hate to go, but I've been.
Eric has called in from Germany and Michigan and Ohio and a van on the interstate.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Holly had to meet Eric once for a signature at Marengo Cave as he was driving across the area. And so, I just personally want to say thank you. And even though you're stepping off, I hope you will still continue to be a resource, which you have been for me. And again, just thank you, Eric.
Well, thank you. Yeah. thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, with that.
Any other business? If not,
I'll make a motion. Sure.
need a second?
I'll second.
Favor aye?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Okay, EDAC's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
All right, call the meeting to order for the last redevelopment commission meeting for 2025. Approval of minutes. Does anyone have any questions or do you? Okay, do I have a motion? Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I wasn't here. I read them, but I wasn't here.
I wasn't
Yeah,
here.
you guys can abstain.
I'll second. All those in favor?
All right.
And then do we have a roll
Yep,
call?
Brandon's online.
Brandon? Brandon?
He nodded off.
Hey there, aye.
It's the other button.
All right,
The other button.
Okay, was that an aye?
yeah.
Okay, so minutes pass. All right. Financial report.
Okay, financials were handed out in your packet. To the actual financials in each of the TIFs, there have been no changes. We are gonna have a couple of claims that came in after the packet. Some that were sent to you and a couple from Morley that just came in today that we'll talk about, but for the financials, happy to answer any questions. They're what you guys saw in your meeting packet with no noticeable additions or subtractions.
How much if are we still expecting to come in to have work by the year, by the end of the year to get an idea of how much we have in that number?
Still coming in, Herb?
Yeah, don't we get distributions in
Yeah.
December?
Yeah, I don't have that handy,
Okay.
how much of that is.
I have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve it presented.
So second. Second. All right, all those in favor? Brandon?
The other button.
He's working on it.
Aye.
Thanks, Brandon.
Wonderful.
The report's pass.
All right, claims, let's talk about claims. That's a full sheet of claims this month. And so, in the packet, you guys had everything up to the Old National ones, which are our 3 bonds in the Epworth TIF. We pay bond and debt service every single year. We know what those numbers are. Those are those big numbers that make this such a big claim month. But 2 that I sent out to you that just came in was pay app number 7, along with the supporting documents. That was for that 155 number that you see there. And then Newburgh Sewer sent the receipt, the claim which I also sent to the board. That was $276. That's them basically inspecting the sewer that goes in. When you expand your sewer line, they inspect and supervise and send us that bill. 2 new claims have come in right here at the very end for Morley. They are just wrapping up their final claims on the floodway study. Remember, we submitted that floodway to DNR. After last month's meeting, it's gonna take DNR, it can take them 3 to 6 months to review. We've kind of put in hey, as soon as possible on the floodway study, but those 2 last ones you guys did not see. We're trying to put them in today so we don't go 4 more weeks. Those bottom 2 are just from Morley. So happy to answer any questions.
There's no questions. Do I have a motion to approve these claims for payment? Motion to approve. Second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
And online, Brandon?
Aye.
I have a general comment on the bond payments that we just made, and this is probably directed more to you than anybody else. So this guy, the banking type, not you.
Okay, that's good.
We have these bond payments, we got plenty of money to pay off all our bonds. I think one of them we can't prepay. But the question in our mind always is it better to do that, or since we have good interest rates, do we just hold steady? That's something I would like somebody with a better financial mind to look at.
Since
Sometimes
we get no credit for the interest being earned, there's no reason for us to carry that debt and pay the interest. So
right.
as a committee, we're best off to pay it, but as the county,
is
best off.
Right, the county gets the interest as we have.
But is that true though, even when you have an interest rate that's so low?
Well, but the county's interest rate should be closer to 3%. Now, I don't know what they're actually earning. So their rate has dropped 1.5% over the last year and a half as short terms continue to fall.
Oh,
So I need to know what their checking account interest rate they're
what
currently
they're
getting.
earning.
How about if I get you an update from the treasurer?
Yeah.
With where we're at, and then you make a,
But yes, we would probably be
Recommendation.
better off to pay these off.
As long as we're
our
not getting
committee,
the interest.
as long as we don't get credit for the interest, and the county's not. Their rate, we need to know their rate that they're earning.
the last time we looked at it, I think was the beginning of last year, and it still made,
Yes, and it was probably almost 5% at
Yes,
the beginning of last
cents.
year.
And I think all our bonds are in the 2 to 3%
Yeah.
range right
So
now.
we are getting down to the 3%
okay,
Probably.
earnings rate for the county, so it's getting close to the payoff.
I will get an update from the treasurer on where she
I
has
will
them,
Look at those for
and
you.
then we'll take a look at it,
I
okay?
bet you should at least give us a thank you note for the interest on
It's significant.
it. Yeah.
Consider it done.
What?
Well,
Okay.
I don't know what you're.
I don't know
trying to
who's
do.
paying for that,
We
but
don't know.
I don't know.
It
who's
it
keeping
changed,
it.
it probably just changed this month, because Fed dropped another quarter as
Mhm.
well,
Yeah.
so.
We have to see what she's doing.
So. Number 1 and number 2 here on our action items should go pretty quick. Number 3 is our presentation, which may take some time. And then we have a change order as well to discuss. So let's work through the first 2, and then we'll ask Jordan to come in here and give a presentation. The first 2 are, we have another project that wants to land out in and around the industrial park. It is a plastic recycling company. They need 20 acres. It's $100 to $150 million project, 30 to 40 jobs. And they need economic development to sign an NDA to even tell us about their project, just to have a conversation. We're not making any decisions. Herb has reviewed and approved that NDA to sign, but anything that I sign, we want the board to ratify.
Do I have a motion to?
This is
ratify
a project that came from the state of Indiana.
Yeah, I'd make a
the-
motion
the
to
NDA.
ratify Steve's signature or Steve to sign the NDA.
Do I have a
Okay.
Second, okay. All those in favor? Aye. Brandon?
Aye.
Okay, there we go. The next one is what we talked about earlier in the first meeting, so it should be, I'm not gonna even read it all, but, Project Firefly, Japanese automotive interior company, the redevelopment commission now also has to make an approval for this. And Herb has what we do every time. It's a single 1-page resolution that gets signed, basically saying that since it's in a TIF district, the redevelopment commission is okay with this tax incentive. Any questions on that or on the project that we discussed at EDAC in the first meeting?
I have a motion to do what Steve just said.
Motion, to do what Steve said.
Motion to approve and sign resolution number 2025-3 related to Project Firefly's tax abatement request.
Yes, okay,
Exactly what you were thinking, right?
exactly. I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye. Aye.
Am I just signing a member
This
line?
passes.
Does it matter?
You are secretary.
Oh.
You didn't know?
Sign in the right
No.
place, Jenna.
You get a bigger paycheck with that, you know that, right?
Great.
You want me to go get you some more M&Ms? 2 bags of them.
That's right.
Okay, next up, guys, next up's the bulk of this meeting. We are going to have a presentation from Jordan, and if those of you that were on the board remember, the board approved an incentive package for Jordan as he moved to develop the 50 acres north of the sports complex last year. Jordan's project has gotten larger as far as territory. And as a lot of big moving projects do, change scope. And so the recommendation was for Jordan to represent his scope to this board. There was a $5 million incentive. And then there was another 1.4 million attached to a golf or other anchor amenity tenant. In this agreement that we have worked on through his new scope, since there is not currently an anchor tenant, we're removing that portion of it, and we're just talking about the original 5 that the redevelopment commission did. Jordan's gonna present kind of where his project is at, what the scope of it is, and then we will be looking at this board to give us direction whether to continue to extend that incentive based on the new parameters and scope. We're getting more land out of the floodplain and we're getting, we're getting some more things in a bigger scope, but you'll see as his project evolves, what it looks like. I'll let him do the presentation.
Did you guys print out copies of the agreement for them to look at?
So
Yeah, I passed them out.
this one,
Economic development agreement.
yeah,
It
that's,
looks like some got it.
I've got it too, somewhere over there.
She's got it.
Oh, you brought him, okay. Okay,
So we've negotiated an economic development agreement.
you wanna talk about this after he
That's
presents?
fine.
But you can pass them out,
Perfect.
but let's get him presenting and then we can talk about this. Mr. Jordan, you're up.
Just like
Evening, Jordan.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Jordan.
Jordan.
I'm well.
Okay, all I did was give.
In the center of that thing or what?
Yes, please.
Right now.
Standing here.
You can stand wherever you want, and I've got your neighborhood package on the screen.
Okay, good.
And I gave them a little, the very short update is that we had an incentive package put together on that 50 acres.
Correct, yep. Been a while back.
And that your scope continues to evolve. Your
Correct.
project continues to evolve, and the recommendation is for the board to, because of those changes, and some of it's that it's getting bigger, to reevaluate this scope,
Mhm.
to either, refresh this incentive as we get into another agreement that the board has copies of, that we've been working
Sure.
between us and you, so,
Sure.
I'm happy, do you wanna talk first, or you want me to scroll through?
Let me run through, yeah, well, first of all, how much time we got here?
You're good.
What-
5,
Whatever,
6 minutes,
No,
10 minutes?
whatever
Okay.
you need.
Okay, cut me off or you guys let me know. I'm very informal.
It'd be less than an hour.
Yes, less than an hour, got it. So jump in with any questions along the way. So maybe some of you guys I can't remember who was on the board last time or not, when I came to show you, but this is, what I feel and when I say our, I mean Warrick County, our step into this mixed use master plan community that a lot of our other competing communities have, like Indy, Louisville, Chattanooga, Nashville, and those suburbs. We don't really have that here. We've tried it on a few levels, other smaller developers, and it hasn't worked real great, but I think it's because sometimes we think a little too small, and this is not thinking too small. This is a big one, okay? So what you have on the screen here, everybody can look up there, on your left, obviously Epworth Road, on the top, Oak Grove, and then it goes all the way over to, the eastern line. You see the large blue, which is a lake. That's somewhere around 300 acres-ish, okay? You're familiar with your sports facility down here, that's the 17-ish acres, okay? That's what's being constructed now. So when you go out there and you look, these aerials will deceive you, because when you stand out there on the property that you guys are developing and you see how big just that property is, well, look up there and it looks like a postage stamp, So it's a big vision, okay?
So that big round circle on the right and the left, that's about the size of what, in Paris, France?
It's the size of Monument
Indianapolis?
in Indianapolis.
The circle in Indianapolis.
Both of those for scale, yes,
Right.
correct. So very large. So, what we've done is we have certainly refined our design. Early on we went to the county and got a positive zoning for a Topgolf type place. I pushed and pushed and pushed, and you can't push a rope. But we teed it up. Okay. And they didn't swing, okay? Honestly, I think the way it was, I really think it was made, I was talking to two different people, and that space is changing a little bit. I think it's tougher for it, right? They were not looking to expand as much, okay? So, what we're doing is we're holding that corner where you see 22 acres, we're holding that for, a big, great idea, okay? I'm gonna say I feel like I work well with Steve, okay? I certainly talked to him, and if there's a need that fits there, we're not gonna settle for something that's like, we just gotta pay the bills there, okay? So that in itself is something for a developer like myself that needs to pay the bills, right? That's kind of a big thing anyways, just to say, we're gonna hold off and not take an easy, an easy win there, okay? So that has been a change, okay? So right now, if a golf guy called me back, I'd be right in here and tell you, we got another change, okay? We're not gonna say no. So that is the one change. And then what we have found is that, you guys know, Warrick County is a great place to live, okay? Great place to work too, but people like housing here, okay? Our area, we want some retail. We want a lot of retail. Some of my, consultants and specialists would tell us, hey, you've got a lot here. You may have a little too much. We don't know. Okay. So when you see the shade of the yellowish or manila kind of color, that's all housing, single family houses. It's heavy in that manner. Okay. To turn $1, you get a lot more price per square foot on commercial. Okay. You don't sell residential by the square foot. Okay. But what we found is that let's settle in on some of these residential. So this phase has grown into more residential on the front end, okay? You'll see that in your agreement, some commitment of some vertical construction that will happen. I think with the vertical commitment, that in itself is probably, depending on the homes that we do, and you'll see some in the presentation here, what we're looking at, could be anywhere from $12 to $15 million worth of just a vertical construction right now on what is before you, okay? Thank you. So to the left of the picture here, this is our typical, what we would love to see develop as a walkable retail, okay? The kind of peach color is a townhome product, okay? You'll see that we're blending from a retail and parking lot to a condo and multifamily to a residential. So you can see what that's like. Maybe people really don't want to live right next to it, right? But it transitions well from, I'll live over here, half a mile or a mile away, but it's nice to go uptown, up to our little village here, and maybe we're shopping or, boutique shopping or getting their nails done or whatever, things like that, okay? We have held some places in here, placeholders in here for maybe some civic type stuff. Be great if there's an opportunity for a school, something like that. Also some larger grand lawn things. If a school wants to come here, great. We have talked to Warrick County School Corporation about an opportunity potentially, so I want you to make sure you understand that. They would like maybe an opportunity to think about like a higher level concept there. I'll let you talk to Abby. I know she's on your board, I think, this board.
Yeah.
Okay. So she can share with you maybe what their vision is. So we've got a placeholder for that.
And the
Okay.
school corporation was looking for free ground recently, correct?
Correct, yes.
Did you make a proposal in that regard?
We did. I don't know if anybody else did or not.
Okay,
Full disclosure, I'm on the school board. You guys should know.
right.
I'm very careful to step out of any meetings they have, but we did make a proposal. They're aware of this and we did meet with them, with our attorney. So I tell you that because probably with the school, that's not really gonna be a thing where they're not gonna buy it from me. That's gonna be a donation probably, okay? So that's kind of the vision of the retail into maybe some multifamily. So we're talking apartments, vertical apartments, maybe 10 or 12 buildings, about 150 to 200 units. And then we transition, maybe we have a school there. If it does happen, I think we're all on the same page that this is probably like a higher education institute, and you're walking across the lawn and you're getting maybe your Starbucks or whatever in between classes. So think of it like maybe a university type setting. Okay. That's our goal for that, but that's their vision, and I can't impress mine upon theirs. Have to work together.
Yep.
And then you get into the housing. We are currently showing a little over 450 units. So this is the new urban design, and you're not gonna see the garage in the front door. It's a tighter setting, it's a towny setting, okay? Feels close, tight, but not too tight, right? It's cozy, okay? You don't have much of a lawn to take care of. There's gonna be parkways, boulevards, areas to walk your dog, and we're not just checking the box with a green area, okay? It's gonna be planned out things with water. That water will also be part of retention. You know that we have a large area out there that we're gonna have for retention for stormwater, so that's not lost on us. You got a lot of pavement, we're gonna store a lot of it in these waterways. And these boulevards will all connect. We will work with our local trail folks and get some ideas on, okay, do you have any plans in this area? What can we do for connecting this to anything maybe outside of us or certainly internal, okay? I am not a trail specialist. There's people in this room that are, and so we're happy to talk to you guys about where those need to go. Okay?
How low is this ground? So you're talking
Good
about.
question, Herb. So if you're looking from the left to the right, you'll see there's a creek that runs through there, okay, or a ditch, and that everything's in the floodplain, 100% in the floodplain, okay. So you start from the left and you're raising it anywhere from about 4 feet, and keep in mind, topsoil's bad for me on this because you can't build on top of topsoil. So the first thing you do when you come out here, it's counterintuitive. We're taking the first top foot off, and that only makes it worse, okay, because you got to get it further up. You take the topsoil, put it off somewhere else. I'll make you a deal on topsoil. Anybody want some? Okay. Fun. Any topsoil you need?
Always need it.
Yeah.
Especially out where I live.
I know. So 4 feet to your left, and then we're heading to the right or to the east, and it will get up to 8 or 9 feet that we're getting to get out of floodplain. Okay. Then you have FPG, flood protection grade. That's even more. That's where we're standing. You know, finished floors have to be at that. So we'll work with our home builders. We will build homes. We'll work with our multifamily developers and figure out how that needs to work and hit that balance just right. But you're talking millions of yards of dirt.
Do you have an estimate on that number? I know millions, but.
I would say you're probably, for the whole project, I mean, we're in the $10 to $15 million range for dirt work, I'd say.
Okay.
We were publicly bid process. We were the contractor for your sports park. That dirt was wetter than we thought. Okay. I'm not crying the blues by any means, but I'm telling you that was wet dirt and it did not go like we thought. So, you don't want to get to a scenario where you're having to do, lime stabilize. That's even more expensive. So you're relying on construction seasons. So when you think about agreements that are before you, you know, Southern Indiana construction season is important. So I'm out there, we're literally farming the dirt. Okay. So you dig it out of these ponds, move the topsoil over, put the lifts in. So we have to build, I know I'm getting the weeds a little bit here. Okay. But you're filling up 8 or 9 feet. This is as far as you can fill up at a time right here. That's it. Okay. And then you got to disc it and dry it. And then you get a third party patron engineer come out and they check it and they say, oh, you're too wet, disc it again. Okay. And the time's ticking, you know,
Which is,
weather like this is
which
coming.
is exactly why this land looks the same as God made it, how many ever millions.
That's right.
of
That's why it
years ago,
sits
right?
there. Yeah.
Still sitting there.
Right. So floodplain earthwork's a big deal. Yeah, Steve, go ahead. We can go to the sections. So you can see what we've got. The colors kind of show what type of streetscape we have, the width. Okay. Let's start from unattractive. Let's go alleys. Okay. 20-foot alleys. Yes, they're big enough to get a trash truck through. I've seen it in these other communities. We're used to, you know, big wide streets. Okay. And big wide streets and setbacks and all this stuff tends to look vanilla. That's why we have what we have sometimes. Okay. So you have to really think about when you go to these places and what looks different. Why does it look good? It comes down to those kind of simple things of, well, maybe not a 20-foot, 5-foot setback, maybe 15, or maybe a radius that's a little tighter on the corner. You're not making thoroughfares. We're not driving, you know, 50 miles an hour. These are residential speed pedestrian areas you're crawling through. So that way it brings the house and the street closer. So it feels that way. It feels much better from an architectural and lifestyle use.
But the alley is there because you're having rear loaded.
Correct. Yeah. Now think about that. Normal developing Warrick County, you don't build two streets to put houses. So everywhere you see out here, this is high on infrastructure. And that's also why people don't do it, because it's expensive. You're double doing everything, you know. So you got your right of ways, 50 foot, 59 foot. That's just if we're having parking on either side, a travel way through. And this will get all vetted out between us and Warrick County. And that might be a heavy lift too. So would appreciate your guys' influence on that. When we go, we might need variances. It could be a PUD where it's a planned unit development. That's a different zoning, but this is new to Warrick County on this type of scale. Parkways, and you can see the distance here. We've got our water to the right, and then you've got this tree area, and then a one-way boulevard, okay, with street parking. Okay, I'll stop for a second. Any questions so far? Anything come to mind? No? Okay. Keep rolling. So this is just a kind of a zoomed in version of what the other one was. It kind of shows you what we're looking for. This the number 7 there is just our walkable retail area. It's planned this way now, and I'll tell you, there are some sheets you may not see in this agreement is because we just need flexibility. If somebody comes in, let's say, you know, a bougie retailer that we all want, okay, and I need to shorten that street up, we've got to have that flexibility, okay? So I just want, when you see this, it's like, well, Jordan didn't build what he said he was going to. There's reasons to have flexibility for a certain type of users that come in. We don't want to just say no because I did it on number 7 right there. You know,
And so what we did in the agreement on provisions like that is, or Eigner can ask for a change and go back to Steve, and Steve and him work out a change to move a road or something like that. So you guys approve it, but Steve has authority to make changes along the way to the extent needed.
so I'm gonna walk over here, if you don't care, Steve, let's go ahead and get on that one. So these are, again, I'm sorry about all these details. You guys got like
Yeah,
hazards here. Okay,
jungle.
so let's, this area here, and this is showing variations, okay? So this is Van Road, and we thought through several ways where these may be front Van Road, okay? And this is a parkway that comes up and dead ends the Van Road if it ever gets extended, okay? And then we rolled through where really we don't front anything to Van Road, okay? So this is a design consideration to think, don't just put the houses anywhere, really think how people are gonna live that. And when you can see this when you pull out of here, okay? You think about this road that goes through this development and how Oak Grove Road is. Some of it works, some of it could be improved, you know, because you see fences, you don't see porches, you know? So these are some alternate concepts that we came up with that we continue to develop.
To Jordan's point, originally we wanted Park Boulevard when you come in here to be a boulevard. And for houses to face the front with sidewalks and a tree strip and everything, and instead all those houses face in. And you see multiple different kinds of fences all the way down.
It's a little choppy, yeah, the view's
Yeah.
choppy, it's not, it doesn't present the best that it could, you know?
Something that's not in this agreement that we've talked about before, though, is Van Road, which is on the southern end of the property, is not there right now. They're building it underneath the sports area right now for the 21 acres. But it needs to go all the way over to Limbert at some point in time. That's something Jordan's development doesn't need, but we're interested in putting that in. So at some point in time, we'll come back to talk to you guys about whether we have money available to fund.
And that was on my future project list that we saw in
Yeah.
EDAC about.
But Van Road would be different than other roads. This would not be a thoroughfare across Warrick County. This is a slow road.
Correct.
Driving south of Jordan's development.
Yeah, you've got that east-west, you know, connector with Oak Grove, you know.
And the come out at the
trail.
Ohio Township Park, basically, is where where it needs to go, but we don't wanna build a road that people speed to get to the east side of Vandenberg County or to get home quicker.
Yeah.
We want to be we wanna be intentional, we want it to be destinational. Wanna jump?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump on the product here. Okay, so these are, we actually, I should have told you, DTJ Design, they're a national firm, but I think that these guys, this office is out of Colorado. It was important for me not to, you know, maybe get a fresh idea. And I worked with DTJ years ago when the original Green Life, dirty word, over there in Victoria, that was the design team. And we came full circle back to them. And I thought, well, hey, yeah, let's talk, because I really like their, you know, their vision. So these are some ideas, building envelopes, the size, you know, that it is narrow, but it fits well. It all does work. You have to be a little intentional about what the backyard looks like. We call them garden homes because you're not really gonna have much of a backyard. That's what the park's for, you know, 5 blocks down or 5 doors down, you know. So we also thought about, hey, when we put these small buildings together, you gotta have a park so far. You don't wanna go too far, because then they can kind of complain about not having a backyard. So,
But part of that is driven by how expensive it's going to be once the dirt's brought up, the
That's right.
infrastructure's been put in.
that's right. Yeah, we do need density.
So your cost per acre is high.
It's very high.
Because of all the dirt work and the other things. that we're-
Correct, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I know we're at public meeting here, I know, but I don't mind sharing. I mean, you're talking about several $100,000 an acre for cost, okay? So something like this is a vision. In the short, it does not happen without help from this board, just to be honest with you. I mean, there's an agreement in front of you. There's probably gonna be other agreements that are gonna have to work together to really see this vision come to fruition.
So the agreement that's in front of you is just for phase 1, which is.
And we'll get into that after Jordan's done.
Okay.
He shows a map of how much acreage this is.
Yeah.
That we're talking about in phase 1. Phase 2, we actually have a housing TIF in that second phase where most of that housing that Jordan showed is. But then I think we've only got really one more page here, but these are just some examples of neighborhoods going off of that density concept with no garages and space and up towards the street and walkability and all of those things.
I mean, this is a completely different look for Warrick County. There's one subdivision off of 261 going down towards Newburgh that's got their rear garage. That's about the old, well, there's one over by Evansville, but.
Yeah, what is that called?
Lexington does it over.
Lexington does it, yeah.
By the server plant that's been going on for 20 years. So
Yeah.
So
still got real little lots left.
So that's kind of a short walkthrough. What kind of changed? You can see that's been massaged if you saw this vision before. I hope you see more detail now. And there's been a lot of thought put into this, but we're really, really excited about it. And I do appreciate your patience. You guys were very great to give us this amazing offering a year ago-ish, okay? Sorry it's taken us this long to get it right, but I feel like once we get it right, you know, we're gonna be rocking and rolling. And so to think about time frame, I will tell you, we did already move a little bit of dirt. Okay, this year we have started moving dirt on the project for phase 1. We took your project as priority, so we had to get that one done first. Okay.
That was on the 50 acres, right?
On the 50.
Okay.
Yep. So work has happened. We intend to get as much done as we can this next construction season. I hope it's not as wet as this last one was, because we lost basically 2 months of dirt moving. So that's kind of our time frame.
Can you get all that dirt work done in one season if you had good weather, or is this a two season?
We could, I think we could. We've got to have that weather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what does help you though a little bit, sometimes if you have a small site, you're restricted. But if you have a big site, you can lay here, here, here. And while that one's drying out, we're laying over here and we're doing this, right? And we keep doing this. and you keep
Yeah.
raising up,
Okay.
you know. I'll leave that to my brother. He's the one in the field doing that. Hopefully we don't get weather like that.
Hopefully we get it now, not.
Does,
No, that's right, that's right.
does anyone have any questions for Jordan before we discuss this as a board?
You guys see the vision? Like it? Excited about
I'll add that, you know, when we look at the big picture that he showed, it's very similar to what he showed last time. Last time there was commercial and residential and multifamily and single family and water and roads and all those things. You know, Jordan used the word, it's refined to what they want to start moving on and going on.
Mhm.
So is this location like
The location is, so let me tell you what I've heard. You guys know we're working over here at Victoria Woods. When you talk to certain positions and even just people who live life, they feel like that's just too far out. Just that. And I say this, I can say this because I live here. We're spoiled if we think, you know,
Another
just 3 or 4
5
minutes, like
minutes.
look at India with all the traffic. I mean, now the Lloyd's getting bad right now, but it's just, that's the perspective. So there is a sweet spot there.
how much time is to do strip ground compared to raising 8
Yep.
feet? But strip ground still has to be a lot easier to work with than raising stuff 8 feet.
Yeah,
And so we
Yeah,
get that.
correct.
That's that desirable, in your opinion, there's that much demand for that.
I do think
High
so.
density.
I think so. I'll tell you, for the, you know, won't pull any punches, there's retail over there at, across over on Burkhardt. I mean, that's competition for us, okay? But that's why you see that this presentation focused more on what? Housing,
Residential.
okay? Because as much, I would love to do that, you know, that turns the profit for us, but I'm not relying on that, okay? I've got to pay the bills with some residential rooftops, okay? But I do think the thing about Warrick County, I'm not dogging any other, we have a very good school system. And there's a magic line there, that county line, and we're on this side of it. So I think that's a big benefit for us.
I agree.
Any other thoughts?
Okay, thank you, Jordan.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
yes. Thank you guys for what you do.
And
Very
so,
critical. It's not
You did a
very critical. Yeah, thanks, Joe.
yeah,
We're gonna swing it out, yeah.
come back in if we should be concerned. Yeah. So what you guys have in front of you, there's really, you know, there's several key things and Herb can address them as well. But I wanna highlight that, the way that I look at this is a refreshment of the incentive that we offered initially. Initially, we were just talking about the 50 acres north of the sports park, which is that green spot, 17 acres. So we were talking about all of that. So this is actually expanded. I think if I counted, it's 110, 109 or whatever acres. And this picture is in your packet here. So really, and if you go back to, that's on towards the back, you're gonna see an exhibit B, and there's page 1, 2, and 3. And exhibit B, page 1, is what Jordan is committing to. And so it's similar to the first time where he was going to raise all the dirt. Now he's raising it over more acreage in this area. He has highlighted just those roads in the middle that you see. Those are the roads that he is committing to put in. He's going to need to put in these other roads, but to his point, and I don't disagree, if he puts in roads based on his best guess for lots today, he is locking in the size of those lots. And if somebody needs 17 acres and he locked it in at 14, that's an issue. So he's gonna put that main grand entryway in and start there, and as he moves lots, we'll build the roads to that. His roads are, and this is tied to this neighborhood package, which you guys saw. So the roads have standards and trees and parking and walkways and connectivity and all of those things. It's tied to the neighborhood package on, you know, the basics of the boulevards and the forward-facing housing and all of those items. He talks about putting in the necessary infrastructure to get going. He talks that he will do 30, in this first phase, will do 37 or more of these garden homes. In this first phase, he will raise it all out of the floodplain. He will put in, as he puts the roads in, the necessary trails and sidewalks, planter strips as shown in that. That is what he is committing to in this phase one, which is very similar to what we had before in numbers, size, and scope. Remember, we pulled out the secondary incentive that he had tied to that anchor. We're not putting that in here. Not saying that if he brings something, you know, nice and shiny, like any other project, that we consider it on its own merits, but we are not including that in this agreement. So that is another change that we are.
What's his investment?
So his investment is guaranteed to be 42.9 or more in this first phase.
I mean, if you I just was jotting down some numbers, just for his land acquisition, so he's already bought the 50 acres over at Epworth and Oak Grove Road. And then he's going to purchase 244 additional acres. Just his land acquisition cost is just shy of 21 million.
But
And he just said, what'd he say for dirt moving, 15 million?
I mean, is anybody gonna be able to afford to buy anything to live in that community? I mean, with the
These
amount
are
of
gonna-
money
That's why the
These
lot,
are
that's why
gonna
the
be
lots have
smaller
to be small.
houses to be able to meet the price
I
point
mean,
that
but
we want.
still, even, yeah, I don't know what the price point, I'm just thinking, who's gonna be able to afford?
His price point was 300,000 to 400,000, wasn't that what he
Okay,
said?
alright. I didn't know, I didn't see that, maybe I missed.
But
it.
it's gonna be small, gotta be smaller houses at that price because his land.
Because the
cost-
houses that he showed looked like they were gonna be at a lot higher price point than what, the designs that I saw looked like.
I
they
think
were
the
gonna be-
400,000 was an average because clearly back over.
And when you look through
Back
like
over
the
where you have the
sizing and the
lake.
building envelopes, these are smaller when you see kind of, these garden style row houses. Than
Right.
some of these other ones that he kind of pulled as just examples of
Right.
houses up
But
on the
did you see
street.
the lots over by the 45 acre lot, 45 acre lake?
Mhm.
Those are gonna be expensive houses.
But
And that's gonna be a nice view.
But it's not lakefront, it's got a road right.
No, the houses are on the other side of the road.
They're on the opposite, yeah, they are on the other
That's
side.
in another phase though, right? That's.
They're on the other side,
Correct,
of you're
correct,
right. There's going to be
correct.
greenway and
Can you
green
go
space
back to
between.
that? Go back to that slide for a second. It was on early on.
So here, you see, they do have a
There's-
road.
there's-
And the road that got the-
Yeah, you did.
Cause that's,
That's it right there, yeah.
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 To the
So the
road
road's
block.
in front of it.
Yeah,
yeah, I guess it is.
So it's not like Victoria Woods where they.
no, he's
Beautiful
not looking for
lake
that.
Back behind.
No,
your
no,
house.
He's not looking for that, and even these lots, there are big corner lots and other things in certain places, but it's the same density.
You're not gonna get
That you
doctors
see.
and lawyers and.
that you
This,
see through
this,
there.
this is what the design looks like right now. That would be one area I could see him come back and say he'd like to change that, cause for the reason you're thinking of, I mean.
But again, right now,
I'd love
guys,
to have the house that doesn't have the road behind
we're
it.
focusing on this 110
Right.
acres for today.
Yeah.
Our goal is not, I'll just tell you personally, is not to get 37 garden homes constructed. We want
400.
110 acres raised out of the floodplain with infrastructure put in and ready to go, because we want these lots to develop. So our, Jordan is committing in phase one to be at 42.9 or more. But that's just for the dirt work, the infrastructure, and this limited amount of vertical construction.
So
What we're looking for is when the rest of these lots develop and move.
that's the biggest difference for you guys is there's not a lot coming out of the ground in phase one. But it is mandatory work to get to the point where we get the vision.
Well, but it doesn't have that huge pull of an anchor that's gonna make all the other commercial wanna come. Is what I see as my concern, and then the housing density. It's unproven that there's that kind of demand in Warrick County for that. We've got. Yes. Warrick County's what, 50,000 people, we're not Indianapolis with the density that they have in Fishers and Carmel and those areas.
This,
My brother lives right there. I know what that looks like.
this is something very different. I like the vision, so I mean, I understand
But
what you're
it's a very-
saying.
it's
I
not-
like the vision a lot, but it's not tested in Warrick
But
County.
it takes a high price income and we can get around so quickly. They can't go, they can't drive anywhere up in that area without spending an hour.
But I
in a
will tell
car.
you, I've been in Warrick County now for 34 years. I would love to be in a plop a house down where I hop on Oak Grove Road and I'm on the east side of Evansville along Burkhart in 5 minutes. This is a perfect location.
I don't disagree with any of that. My concern is the cost to develop this land. And a $300,000 or $400,000 home is not a problem, but if it ends up being a PUD or one of those others, then they've got the HOA or the PUD fees on top of the cost of the home. But I know that maybe my head is going in the
Right.
wrong direction because as you said, we just want to get the land developed, but developing the land at a cost that nobody can afford to utilize it scares me just a little bit. I think of it in a big size too. I know, it's the whole floodplain that makes it so.
My perspective is different because we that are sitting in here, at least I'll put me in this, and I think it's probably all of us, don't have the expertise to develop 294 acres in Warrick County into mixed use development. He's got the vision. He hired the experts out of Colorado, and he's got a spectacular vision from my perspective.
It is.
And whether he can make it or not, he's the one taking that financial risk. What we're taking a risk on in this first phase is $5 million. Is RDC kicking in $5 million a bad judgment on our part as we sit here today to get something completely different?
If we get the infrastructure in the ground
with-
at
with-
developable level and the start of the residential area.
Like I said earlier, this land still looks like God made it millions and millions of
And
years ago.
I'll just say to your.
And he's the only one in Warrick County that will bite this thing off.
I believe.
There's one person in Warrick County that will bite this off.
It fits, the redevelopment commission did this vision plan, asked employers, asked other folks, had everybody in. It basically fits that entire vision that came out of that with water and walkability and something different.
Mhm.
And we do have people that are trying to downsize, that have funds, that don't want a lawn, don't want to mow, don't want all those things. We have people that want to live closer to work, they want to live closer to other things. And I'll just tell you from an economic development side, we've said this in these meetings before, we constantly have people circle this area between the Morgan exit and the Epworth exit,
Right.
as this is the area. And then those folks get scared by the dirt work. And unfortunately, we have a developer that their business is dirt work.
Mhm.
So bring me up to speed again on the money we have to spend, cause I've lost track of how many
$22 million is sitting in the Epworth tip right
It's
now.
already been.
This is $5 million,
Paid,
this is $5 million,
paid.
and we may even bond this one, so.
Yeah, we have,
We're fine on money.
Well, I knew.
We actually need to start spending some.
here's
Taking it away from you.
here's that Epworth tip, Brad.
No, this is the RDC, it doesn't get
With-
taken away.
With going to 2029,
We're gonna fight about that one.
and that's including. So right here, we've got. Funds in here for a bunch of, these funds haven't been
They
spent.
haven't been spent.
So to Herb's point, there's more money in here than you show because we have funds.
22,
and some
2 million
future
5
funds.
hasn't been spent, 2 million hasn't been spent, 2 million 5 hasn't been spent,
And to
500,000 hasn't been spent.
Herb's point,
So,
we may decide to just, bond this thing, whether it's a draw bond or whatever. And he's committed to doing what we want done, which is get this developable, put the infrastructure in, get the lots ready to go and start on the housing. And if he doesn't meet those metrics, the incentives are clawed back if he doesn't meet those. So.
I also take a step back to sort of what's the role of a redevelopment commission? And so redevelopment looks different in Warrick County than it does in a lot of places. We don't have old buildings that we're tearing down and redeveloping an area that's been sitting there for 150 years. We are redeveloping an area that's not going to get built on because it's 4 to 9 feet low. And so part of that redevelopment in this case is raising land that's 4 to 9 foot low and make it productive use for the county and provide Warrick County something that you don't see in southwestern Indiana. There's nothing like this in southwestern Indiana. There's nothing like this in Evansville or Vanderbilt County. You gotta go to Indianapolis to find development like that. So from my perspective, that's redevelopment.
And to your point, you know.
I think this is, oh,
Go ahead. Courtney.
sorry, Steve, I was gonna say, I think this is, I've always been in support of this. I think it's a huge thing. Like I agree with what you and Herb have said, so, I'm in support of it. You can continue now. Sorry, Steve. I just wanted to state my little opinion. I think it's awesome what he's gonna do.
It's exciting. I'm not saying it's not exciting.
Visionary.
So,
So you make a motion then, Courtney?
Was that a motion, Courtney? So,
I'll make a motion unless everybody wants to talk about it some more.
so let
I'm
me
happy
give
to
you a
make-
formal motion and then you can agree and then we can talk about it more if they want to. So,
Okay,
so we
perfect.
both need to approve the economic development agreement that is in front of everyone and authorize Courtney to sign on behalf of the redevelopment commission tonight so we can get this project rolling. So it's a two-part process to approve and execute the economic development agreement for phase 1 of the Warrick Gateway District.
Okay, I can't make that motion then if I have to sign it, right?
Good. You wanna make a motion?
How's she gonna sign it tomorrow?
Hmm?
How's she
he won't sign it tonight. You're all.
She doesn't have to
approved
sign
her
it tonight.
He did say that.
Okay,
He did say
We'll
that.
find her.
get that part out of you,
We'll find her.
that part.
Courtney, we're gonna come find you.
Okay, I can come swing by the office. It's no big deal.
Should be the German American Party here in about an hour.
Good.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, I make a motion, I fully support it.
Second. Courtney, can you second?
I'll second it.
Eric seconded.
Now you can step so far. If you want, yeah, if you want, we got a motion in a second.
You guys want more discussion or are you ready to?
5 million commitment from TIP, right? That works.
Correct.
Correct.
All in favor?
All in favor? Do we need a roll call?
Yeah.
We'll handle the roll call since you're virtual.
Okay.
Courtney.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, Brandon,
Aye.
Courtney,
Aye.
All right. If motion passed 6-0.
Okay, if you guys, like I do, have your best thinking 5 minutes after our meeting, if you have additional questions, whether it's for me or for Jordan or whoever, about this, as Jordan said, we've put a housing TIF in, basically on the other half of this portion, which at some point, when that's ready to go, and then again, we'll put the incentive and the risk on the builder.
Right.
I personally feel this will get this started. And having this land available and ready to go on Epworth Road, I think is gonna pay dividends for kind of the front door development. And I think it's the right place in our community to have this kind of thing versus tucked away somewhere.
I think it needs a nice, beautiful anchor.
I agree.
Well, we'll
That made
I
it a
mean,
lot
I don't
easier last
disagree
year.
with
I-
any of
I
it.
agree.
The anchor on the southwest corner is our sports facility.
Brad, I agree 100%.
And the anchor on the northwest corner is to be
Yeah.
determined. And the anchor in the center is a school that you only heard part of.
Right, yeah,
I've heard about it.
it'd be,
The
when we go to
school,
Colorado,
the
we
school
see
is a
it.
game
Right,
changer
so
for
it's
Warrick
amazing.
County. Just like this development is, the school's a game
Yeah,
changer
I've
for
heard
Warrick
about it.
County.
So let's leave that for the schools to come talk to us about,
Right,
'cause I don't even outside of what Abby teased at the state of the schools. I don't know the details of that.
Right.
We do have one more point of action for the board. And we're trying to get this done because this just came in this week as well. It seems like we have 4 weeks between meetings. And it seems like everyone turns stuff in the week before our meeting. So, but we had a change order. So remember, the scope of the civil work over there on Epworth Point with the sports complex, that's a $2.3 million contract, and we've had zero change orders on that parcel. We've got our first change order on that parcel in front of us right here. It's been reviewed by Morley. We've talked about it, and I want to walk through what that change order is for. I'll first tell you that the total of the change order, and again, remember, this is a $2.3 million construction project. This first change order will be $39,315. And what that is a riprap foundation on the basin to protect that basin and stop losing leakage in the basin. That's going on. It's 100 tons, 5 loads of riprap at $45 a ton, which is placed at $4,500. When we extended the water line to the end of the property, originally it was just going to the facility and not to the northern part and the other to the end of the property to the north. Chandler Utilities provided the pipe. They had the pipe, so they provided that. All we had to do was provide the labor for it and the fittings. So the labor was $4,640, and the fittings in the backfill for those fittings was $2,250. Jordan actually put a hydrant at the end of that on his own dime because he felt that was the right way to have something to flush out that line. Because it ends there.
That water line now goes to our northern property line of that 21 acres, which is the southern property line of Jordan's 50 acres.
And then 2 other things were requested, one for removal of some pavement with new asphalt and gravel, $1,690, and the new pavement is $7,200. That is over here at Epworth. The original concept was to use existing pavement that we had on Van Road that was constructed when the orthopedic hospital went in, but using that old pavement on that turning radius and trying to match it to brand new pavement, and it doesn't put I'm not a construction guy, it doesn't put the seam on the lane line, so you get that seam kind of in the middle of that turn and stuff.
Nor would it be level.
Talking with, we talked this through with the engineer, with Morley, and again, we're talking $1,600 and $7,200. It makes sense to have a fresh road versus kind of piecemealing this road coming into the development. And then the last one was, you see here in the spots, to Jordan's point, and it's the same thing when we built the wellness trail. There were soft spots and I wasn't here when we built the wellness trail, just have the notes. There were soft spots and stuff in that had to be reinforced due to the ground that we have here in Warrick County. So there's some yielding material in the roadway that's highlighted there after the proof roll. And per Patriot, they'd like to put 423 tons of gravel at $45 a ton to remove and replace, basically to get those areas correct after the proof roll due to some softness there. So all of that added together is that change order for $39,315. We've talked through it as a group. Morley has looked at this request and pricing of these items and provided all of that to us. And so
Morley recommends it as to all items
to this project. So we wanted to look at this one separately here tonight with the board and give you guys a chance to answer questions. We haven't had any change orders, but it all makes sense to me. I don't know if there's any questions, and then we need to approve the change order and signing that we accept it. So do you want them to allow me to sign, or we want to chase court and do them?
No, you can sign it.
Here.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept this and allow Steve to sign it.
Second that.
Okay. How about I'll do it since Courtney's out, in person. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, online,
Brandon,
Aye.
Courtney,
Aye.
okay, change order number one for that $39,315 is approved. Okay, guys, I took out some slides, because we kind of talked about a lot of this stuff, but just want to let you know that as of today, Vivid is still moving forward. They're still looking at the February, March timeline now for our county council meetings. I actually have a meeting in the morning with Elberfeld Sewer and Water, along with Evansville Sewer and Water, about getting on the same page when that project goes to their phase 2 and phase 3, like in 2030, to make sure that capacity runs parallel paths with the need of this project. So we're having that conversation about collaborating tomorrow. This project continues to meet with all of our utilities and myself on the site. They request occasional permission to be on the ground. They've done their own soil borings and all of that. So they continue to design that site for construction. We are just waiting for an announcement on it, hopefully. And once that happens, we will go after incentives and lock this project in. And that's really, we already talked about Firefly and the Shell building. And
That's out hold right now.
yeah, I'm gonna wait to hear back on that.
Gotcha.
So I have an update. But so in the North Warwick Industrial Park, that's it. Little tiny thing. I did have somebody reach out this week about that lot B, 4.8 acres, which where the house was. He's gonna maybe after the first of the year, we're gonna get together. It sounded like he wanted to build a little tiny shop and lease it to somebody. And kind of be a landlord and build a little shop on there. He's from Elberfeld and out that area, so fine. We just decided we meet after the first of the year. And that technically might be the last piece of property we own, because Duke would be looking at spot A, 16.9, to put the new substation that would feed Project Vivid's lands.
What's the first responder improvement?
Okay, so first, we've talked about all kinds of things that a giant manufacturing
Yeah.
plant needs. And one thing they need is to hit certain metrics for their own safety and for insurance and everything else on first responders. So they have a list of things that they would like, and so it's response time. It's response location, like of an ambulance EMS. The closest ambulance EMS is in Linville. To this location, they've run turnaround times. One of the pieces is going to be about 10 stories tall, and there's no ladder truck anywhere to be seen. So like first responder stuff is distance to a hazmat facility, first responder timing, ladder truck, ambulance response time, if the fire department is paid or volunteer. So again, we don't check a lot of those boxes. What they are looking for, and so we've had conversations already about, you even heard Yankeetown. Talk about how they have shared response commitments and stuff like that, and so. Everything that we've told them, and we put them, the interesting thing is Dennis Miller. Is also, I think, the fire chief, and he's in charge of sewer and water, so it's like a one-stop shop. In Elberfeld for all of these. And he's coming to my meeting in the morning, on sewer and water. So we've been full. Here's the context. Here's what it is. They need to decide whether they bring some of those services in-house.
That's kind of was my question.
So I mean, like Alcoa has its own fire
Has its
department.
own in
A
there.
Yankeetown would be secondary, like a
Right.
responder. They can bring some of those things in-house, or they can support the public side to make some of those goals happen.
Okay. And be
That's where
extremely interested in that part of it.
that's where they're at. And we haven't had a conversation on,
Because with our PSLIT, that's gonna make a big positive big hit.
so we haven't had a conversation in about 6 weeks on the first responder piece. It's been more sewer and water lately. But it is something we still need to figure out, and they need to, as they're checking all these boxes.
Know if I can help on it.
Okay.
And they don't have a fire territory there either, do they?
No,
They're,
They
they're,
do not.
Linville has a fire territory, so their budget's a little
Their
different.
budget's a little different.
Yeah, but I didn't think that
Yeah.
Ellenfeld or Greer.
Greer's on their own.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Of course, Campbell's next has nothing, so.
like anything, there's some challenges. Anyone else have any board business from the board here?
I'll motion to adjourn.
One more time, thank you, Eric, and Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Thanks. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thanks, Carter.
Thank you.
See you guys. Merry Christmas.